I am dead. As of this moment, we are all dead. We go into battle to reclaim our lives. This we do gladly because we are Jem'Hadar. Victory is life. The Jem'Hadar, the forces of the galaxy's mightiest military power, the Dominion. Genetically bred warriors fit for only one purpose: to war and win. Hi all, Rick here with another cultural index, this time on the scaled soldiers bound to the will of their gods from the Gamma Quadrant, and one of the races that caused the most trouble for the Federation. So let's look at the Jem'Hadar, shall we? The Jem'Hadar are another species whose natural evolution has been completely overwritten by the Dominion's control. Like the Vorta, the Jem'Hadar are an all-cloned race under the complete control of the Founders. They are an all-male species, which is by the Founders' design. They can no longer reproduce outside of the cloning facilities under Dominion control. They reach full adulthood within around 3 days, and during this period their digestive system processes food in the same way as many other species. Upon maturation, however, they no longer require sleep nor ingest food. Their whole metabolism is fueled by Ketracell white. Physiologically, the Jem'Hadar are a sort of mix between a reptilian and a mammalian species, with traits from both. Their skin is scaled and grey, yet they are warm-blooded and far more mammalian in infanthood than adolescence. The tougher scales and horns develop as they age, with older Jem'Hadar sporting longer horns around their head. They are stronger than humans too, and have excellent vision. An interesting fact is that stun settings have little effect on them, and most weapons have to be tiered up to lethal, a side effect being that capturing them is very difficult. They also have a biological ability to shroud themselves, a sort of cloak that allows them to camouflage themselves. They are able to detect one another through their enhanced eyesight that allows them to see what they call the Deity aura. In terms of mental ability, they are very tactically minded and can learn languages rather quickly, which they often do as it allows them to understand their enemy's commands in the heat of battle. The Ketracell white is a chemical compound supplied by the Dominion hierarchy and produced by factories and controlled by them. This substance contains all the nutritional need for a full-grown Jem'Hadar, as well as a critical enzyme that the Jem'Hadar lack. This was another form of control from the Dominion, who deliberately engineered this lack within the genetic makeup of their soldiers, and the Founders were the sole provider of this drug. Without the white, a Jem'Hadar would begin to suffer a breakdown, both physical and mental, as their organs shut down. This led to them becoming increasingly erratic and hostile against anyone until they go mad and finally pass. The original homeworld of the Jem'Hadar has long been buried by the Founders, but some describe it as a world shrouded by clouds and a rather bleak M-class surface. It's also rumoured that a pre-Dominion Jem'Hadar volunteered themselves to the alien superpower in order to become better warriors. The extensive genetic modification of the Jem'Hadar has eliminated much of their natural traits, so it's impossible to speculate on how their environment shaped them. They had been brought into the Dominion by 2100, although they were in the midst of having their genome refined still. A series of rebellions occurred during this time from some Jem'Hadar who were too independent, but this was all quashed and buried by the Dominion. Now they serve as shock troops and ship crews, making them the bulk of the Dominion's military and naval might. This is their sole function, and as such entirely developed around a military lifestyle, but without any R&R. They had no entertainment, no arts or relaxation, as they had no need of it. Their existence was designed to serve the Dominion and the Founders. Jem'Hadar units are entirely rank-based, and one of the only things that the Jem'Hadar themselves have control over. After being born and matured, they are assigned to a unit where they earn a rank based on merit and experience. Every member of the unit is assigned a level, 5th, 4th, 3rd, culminating in the top rank of 1st. They unquestioningly follow the orders of their superiors, but can be demoted and promoted in tier by the 1st, or acting first of the unit. Each unit answers to a single Vorta. the Dominion's middleman species who relay the orders of the Founders to the Jem'Hadar and manage the day-to-day operations of the organisation. I've already done a video on them. Suffice to say that the Jem'Hadar have no love for the Vorta, who treat them as disposable slaves. They only obey the Vorta's orders, as they have been conditioned to believe that the Vorta act on behalf of the Founders, whom the Jem'Hadar are genetically compelled to obey. Jem'Hadar did name themselves, however, despite being clones and ranked by number. Such names were 2 words, however they were not familial names, as the Jem'Hadar had no family units. Again, nothing to conflict with their loyalty to the Founders. Despite all this restriction imposed on them, a culture has evolved among them based around the life that they know. First off, their genetic compulsion to obey the Founders has led to them deifying the changelings into gods. As their literal creators and sculptors of their genetic code, in a way they are correct. A light ritualistic mindset grew around their interactions with the Founders, however indirect, and this applied to the taking of the Ketracel White too. Bred for combat and fanatically loyal to the Dominion, they enter combat with a pledge to win or die. Victory is life. To get them in the mindset, they stated that they were dead on the eve of battle and only through victory would they live again. This was all bolstered by their natural aggression. They lusted for combat and were driven to pit themselves against an adversary, with some enjoying combat or the prospect of engaging a new opponent. With the amount of combat that the Jem'Hadar see, their average lifespan is around 15 years, although they are capable of living much longer. Those over the age of 20 were seen as honoured elders, proof of their ability in combat to survive and win, worthy of respect. Being an entirely military society, they are judgmental of their opponent's tactics, courage and warrior ethos. It's the only criteria they are familiar with. To this end, they seem especially respectful of Klingon society and show this by beating their Klingon prisoners. Not great, and perversely this mistreatment of prisoners of war was in their mind a sign of respect, although many other races would disagree. The Jem'Hadar are trusted with the operation of the Dominion starships and fighters, which strike fear into many of the Dominion's subjugated races. The Dominion fleet includes fighters, battleships and battle cruisers, which could be produced at an alarming rate, mirroring the rapid repopulation of the Jem'Hadar crews themselves. They favoured Polaron-based weaponry for ship-to-ship combat, as many species had a deflector shield weakness for this specific energy type, and would routinely sacrifice their lives and vessels to take out an enemy ship, employing collisions even when there were alternatives available. On board Dominion ships, they had no windows nor view screens, with only 2 personal eye screens for the Vorta and First, so that no other on the ship could question orders, as they did not have the full picture of events and had to trust in their commanders. The Jem'Hadar military outfit is lightweight, dark and has several modifications for the Jem'Hadar's biology. The uniform can be shrouded when its user cloaks, and has a special intravenous connection to which Ketracel White could be affixed. The Dominion wanted the other races to see the Jem'Hadar as just another weapon of the interstellar superpower, a living extension of the Dominion's might, and as such sculpted their technology and tactics to reflect this. If the Jem'Hadar were deployed en masse, the Dominion wanted you dead. They were completely fine with the use of biological weapons, and even their plasma rifles left behind an anticoagulant to ensure their target's death. Ultimately, the Jem'Hadar are soldiers, but nothing more and without choice. Everything about them is artificially amped up to 11 at their expense as a culture, but they would have it no other way. Genetically, they have no choice but to fight. They need to. They need the structure, even when raised away from the Dominion's influences, and for the most part, only further genetic tampering would allow them the ability to grow naturally as a species once again. Occasionally, there are Jem'Hadar that, due to the required genetic diversity to maintain the clone race, are born without the need for Ketracel White. However, such individuals are usually never aware of their naturality, as they too are supplied with the white and folded into the regimented units of the Dominion. I wonder if it's true that the early Jem'Hadar did indeed volunteer to be augmented by the Dominion so that they could become fierce warriors. If it is true, I have to question whether it was worth it. When you strip away everything deemed unnecessary for warfare, what you're left with is a warrior but nothing else. Some semblance of a culture can be seen in their strange honour system, but even that is all orbiting their singular purpose. What is left of them to fight for aside from the Dominion's goals? These soldiers never return to their homes, they only find fulfillment in combat, and even that isn't their choice. Only victory is life. Thanks for watching this index on the Jem'Hadar, the super soldiers of Star Trek. So the next index video can be aimed to explore one of two more sci-fi soldier species, the Vardois, the out-of-time military from the Star Trek universe, or the Ungoi grunts as used by the Covenant military from Halo. Votes are over on the community tab now, so let me know or leave a suggestion for more species. Until the next video, I've been Rick. Thanks again for watching, and goodbye.